Well, here's a lovely sight to see first thing in the morning. Hanging off my kiwi vine trellis is a beautiful swarm. So if you're gonna catch a swarm, get yourself a tarp and whatever hive you want to shake them into, and I always take out a few frames if I'm going to shake them right in. That way you can get them into the hive, and of course take lots of close-up movies with your iPhone. And I always like doing that to share with friends and family. I totally geek out on all my pictures and videos of bees with all my buddies. Every time I'm up close and personal with one of these swarms, I keep a sharp eye out for the queen bee. And I've got one of those queen bee hair clips that I like to catch her if I happen to see her. If you catch her, it's a lot easier to get the bees in the hive. Another thing I like to do is have a bottle of sugar spray water, and I like to spray those bees real good. Once their wings are wet, it's a lot harder for them to fly around, and it's a lot easier to control that swarm if you shake them out of there when they're wet. So I've got my bucket, and you can do this in one fell swoop if you want to. I could have bounced the whole thing into the bucket, but I chose to skim off the largest portion of that swarm with the bucket. There's more than one way to skin a cat, especially when it comes to retrieving a swarm. I just so happen to do it this way. Maybe I was not quite ready for a few more bee stings, so I scraped them off nice and easy. I just wiggled that bucket underneath that swarm, and a good bit of them fell right into the bucket. And watch as I dump them into the beehive, because I like to put a layer of duct tape around the top of the bucket. The bees won't go past that unless they're really loaded up into that bucket. So here I am ready to dump them in. I don't know if you can see that duct tape or not. Yeah, I couldn't see it too good. Sorry about that. So anyway, shake them in there, and then I get those frames in as quick as I can, because the first thing that bees will do once they're in an empty cavity like a beehive like this is they'll run towards the top as fast as their little legs will take them. So I try to get them frames in, and I have to kind of ease them in, otherwise you'll be squishing bees at the bottom. So I just kind of let the bees move around until I can wiggle those frames down, and I just adjust everything just perfectly because I got to put that lid on and keep them from boiling over. Now there's a few more bees. There's probably about a third left, so this time they're going to get bounced. So I get my bucket into position, bounce most of them in, and now you just shake the rest out of the trellis. And there they go. Give it a good shake. You do get a couple of stings when you do that. Sometimes you don't get any, but I think I got about 3 or 4 that day. Not too bad. So move my equipment out of the way, and here's what's handy about having a tarp. You can shake those bees right up to the entrance. And again, I'm taking more movies like some kind of bee geek. So once you get the majority of the bees inside the hive, the rest just kind of march right in. This is kind of in line with Tom Seeley's honeybee democracy. They just kind of go with the flow. They don't really ask a lot of questions. If most of the bees are in that hive, they think, well, this must be the place to go, so they all start marching in. And just to make sure everybody knows where to go, the bees are fanning to make sure that the bees that are still flying around towards the top of the trellis come down to this spot, because this is where everybody's going. Now there's always going to be bees that'll fly back to that same spot where everybody was clustering, so just keep a little bit of sugar spray water with you. Spray them up real good, just like you see here. Spray them up real good, and then they can't fly away on you so quick. And then when you shake them down, they'll be marching in with the rest of them. Give them a good bump right in there. In they go. Wet bees. And then they'll march right in. Just to be sure, give them a little more spray. And as I mentioned before, I am constantly watching to see if I see the queen bee. Because if I see her, I'm going to pick her up with my hair clip and I'll tie her to one of the frames. And again, with the phone, can't stop taking movies. But this time I got busted. So I'm sitting here laying on a tarp taking videos of my bees like a geek. And my wife seen me from across the driveway, and she had her own video that she shot right here.
Just a man up there enjoying his bees. Sitting down and having a conversation with them.
Well, I've given them about an hour and a half, and they've pretty much all accepted the hive. And for anyone who's interested, this is a 5-frame Lazutin hive. It's vertical and horizontal all at the same time. It's only 5 frames wide. I'm actually testing it out a little bit. So I need to put my cover on. And it's a flush cover, so I actually like to screw it in place. It's real important that I move this hive to its permanent location as soon as possible. I've shaken them out of the upper vine.
Now look at this sheer look of amazement on my face. What had happened was, I got that swarm in the box, everybody was settling in, I'm getting ready to move it to its permanent spot, and I look up and there's a second swarm about 3 feet from where the first one was hanging. So I had to make quick work and go get another swarm trap, and in the process I ripped the microphone cord out of the socket, so I lost all sound after this particular shot.
Oh man, and there's more up there. Okay, what is happening here?
Seriously, get some new shoes. You look like you're homeless. Here I am with no microphone working, and I'm trying to tell you how exciting it was to run and go get that other swarm trap from behind the barn, run back and get my exercise for the morning, and shake that second swarm out of the kiwi vine. Well, anyway, I'm just here to tell you everything went fine, and I got 2 for the price of 1. Isn't that cool or what? Well, I used to make a lot of splits, and I found that even when I made the split, my bees would sometimes still swarm anyway. So now I just let them swarm when they want to swarm, and I just keep a sharp eye out that kitchen window, and if I see them in my kiwi vine or on my plum tree, well, I've got swarm traps that I'm ready to go, and I've got some frozen comb in my freezer, and I can just drop that in there and they'll go right to work. Well, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and if you did, give it a thumbs up or a like and subscribe, and we'll have some more fun stuff in the near future. So until the next time, friends, keep on enjoying beekeeping. Next time I see you, I might even have me a new pair of shoes.